So, hello everyone. We are very happy to be with José Vega, who is here in Paris, France. And José Vega is running now for the Congress in the Bronx, New York City, United States of America. And José Vega came to France to participate for a 3-day conference organized by Solidarité Progrès, the political party of Jacques Cheminade, and the Schiller Institute, the International Schiller Institute. And during this conference, we had many speakers from all around the world, from South Africa, Ivory Coast, Mexico, United States of America. And José Vega, who is running now for the Congress, in the middle of his campaign, decided to come to France to share his experience as an organizer, as an activist in the US, fighting the oligarchical principle there. So we are happy to have you here in France. And just to start, maybe a word why you decide to come to France to participate to this conference in the middle of your campaign in the US.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's good to be here. It's good to be in France. I actually tried escargot for the first time. It's very good. With some bread, butter, garlic. It's very good food here. And the wine and cheese is very good. But part of the reason I'm here is because the Schiller Institute was putting on the international conference. And, it's always good to kind of be reminded that we don't exist in a bubble. Americans are often accused of being too isolated, that we don't actually engage with other countries. I don't know how many Americans speak another language, even though America is composed of immigrants, But to be able to come here to France has been very eye-opening for me. And I'm glad I came. I decided to take the time because I said, look, it's very important for me to be able to relate to a lot of the constituency that is in New York, and also to understand better not just where they come from, but also the sort of universality that exists, in people's backgrounds over there in the United States. And that's also true here as well. And I think the most important thing I got out of it was whether it's over in New York City, where you have a lot of immigrants, who speak different languages, you have the same thing here. There's a lot of people here who speak different languages as well, who come from all over the world, and being able to go to different universities with you, and organizing, like we went to the International Youth University, where I got to meet someone from Sri Lanka. Yeah. I got to meet people from London. I got to meet people from China. I got to meet people from all different countries in Africa, Cameroon, Congo, Mali, and even in people from Central America, like Mexico, Hondurans were here. And I even got to meet some people from New York City, like people from Queens who were here studying as well, too. So it was quite interesting. And also getting the commonality of struggle, the shared struggle. I was in Saint-Denis and I spoke with a young person. He was about maybe a little younger than me. And he says, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from the Bronx." "Oh, the Bronx. Saint-Denis is like the Bronx of France." And the sort of like understanding of like poverty here is the same anywhere else, And that to me was very eye-opening, and also to understand how other people view the United States. Because they are very interested in what's going on in American politics. A lot of the French people, when I tell them I'm from New York City, they say, "Oh, you must be really happy because you have this mayor, Mamdani." Yeah, exactly. And are you friends with Mamdani? Will he help you in your campaign? It's
all the leftists in France love this guy.
Oh yeah. No, it's great. It's great that New York City is on the international map again, and Mamdani has made that very popular. And not only that, but they also do ask, how is it like being under this madman Trump? Will it get better? That kind of thing. So basically, elections over there in the United States, the actions that it takes, the way it acts, has a very big effect on the world. Yeah. And I saw that here in France, talking to a lot of people here who were just very concerned and worried about what the United States is going to do, but also they were happy to see that somebody here doesn't hate America. Yeah. They just hate the actions of its government. So that's a long way of answering your question.
Yeah, no, that's right. We have time.
Okay.
But a word, because French people are interested in American politics, as you said, but we want to know more about your campaign. Maybe we want to know who is the current congressman that you are opposed to, and are you running for the Democratic Party, the Republican Party? Are you an independent candidate? Can you say more the context of your campaign?
My opponent, his name is Richie Torres. He is the incumbent. An incumbent is somebody who's already in the seat, and he is somebody who has neglected the district that he's running in. So, I'm in a part of the Bronx, which is called the New York 15th Congressional District, which is the poorest congressional district in the entire country. I mean, in the same place you have Wall Street, you also have the highest child poverty rate. You have the highest illiteracy rate. We are worse in almost every mark. It's in the Bronx that it's just the worst of the worst. And this guy, Richie Torres, the congressman, takes all this money from the Israeli lobby.
Oh, yeah.
Some people here in France know about AIPAC. I was very interested about this, that they know about the American-Israeli Political Affairs Committee, and their influence. And my opponent has taken $1.5 million
from the AIPAC.
Yes. He's crazy sold out.
Yeah.
And the guy
supporting totally the policy of Netanyahu.
But worse than that, he personally took his money and invested in Israel's biggest military contractors, Northrop Grumman, L3 Harris, and Lockheed Martin.
Yes.
At the same time that he was voting no to a ceasefire. At the same time he was voting yes to more money and weapons for Israel. That's my opponent. And he does nothing for the people of the Bronx. Absolutely nothing for him. And so it's time for him to go. Yeah. And as for me, I'm doing a very unique, well, it's not very unique strategy, but it's a revolutionary strategy, which is that we are running in the Democratic Party and in the Independent Party line too. Because in New York City, you can do both. So whether I win the Democratic primary or lose, I'm still going ahead in the general election.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
And we are going to we're going to cause some very good trouble by doing that, because the Democratic Party, I have yelled at almost every New York congressman. And Hakeem Jeffries, who is
just for those who don't know, José is very famous in the US because he started to stand up in meetings, town meetings, and confronting very political figures in the US and be kicking out sometimes very brutally on some of this meeting. And it was recorded by video and made millions of views on TikTok, on Instagram, and so on. So you are quite well known now because of this revolutionary strategy to intervene in the different town meeting and events and
I was doing that stuff even before I was a candidate, and I was doing it while I was a candidate last year. It's not my first time running, it's my second time running. But I think that is something anybody should be doing. If you're in any country that says it respects free speech, you should be standing up and demanding better of your politicians always. You should be demanding accountability always. That's what I genuinely believe and think. But so this is kind of like our big intervention in running in the Democrat primary, where they have to cover us now, and they might even have to give us a debate.
A debate. How many Democratic candidates there are now for
there's
the primary?
Me and Richie Torres, and then there's Michael Blake and Delorney. Four candidates. Yes. But you know what? This election is also a referendum. If they want the same old, they can vote the other candidates. But if they want somebody who's actually going to take care of their interests and wants to develop the Bronx, to bring high-speed rail to the United States and turn the Bronx into a revolutionary science center for people who can come from anywhere in the world, they can come to the Bronx and they can learn advanced physics, advanced engineering. They are going to get to the point where they can work as a STEM engineer in NASA. That is at the point that is my plan. That's right. So. The Space Civilian Construction Corps is what we're going to bring to the Bronx. We're going to take the people of the Bronx who are young, who are 18 to 26, whether they dropped out of college or they graduated college, whether they graduated high school or dropped out of high school, whether they're juvenile delinquents. They can go through this program, an advanced program in the style of Gaspard Monge and Lazare Carnot, and they are going to learn how to be engineers very quickly, and whatever it takes to be a city builder or a city maintainer too, because we might need nurses as well, to staff hospitals. We need teachers. We need people teaching because my grand goal, apart from reindustrializing and revamping the Bronx for a creative science center, we're going to build new cities in the United States. We're going to build 10 new cities within 10 years. Now, I know it's a very big project, but that means that we have to completely reorient our $1 trillion defense spending bill to $1 trillion towards city building in our own country. Yeah. And it's going to be built by the people in the Bronx who go through this program.
So you are reviving the tradition of FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and Kennedy with this large-scale infrastructure, science-driven economy, also as LaRouche has always defined the real science economy.
Exactly,
yeah.
That's exactly right what we're doing, because we're the only candidate, I think, in the entire country that has any idea of the real FDR and the real Kennedy and what they were actually trying to do with these large-scale infrastructure projects. It wasn't just large-scale infrastructure projects, it was an investment in people, because we understood that people were the real future, the real economy, because the best currency an economy has is not in the dollars, it's in the mind. Yeah. It's in the reason, and it's creativity. That is what allows an economy to drive. It's what allows us to go from burning wood as fuel to burning coal to burning oil and gas to now nuclear fission, and hopefully nuclear fusion very soon. Yeah. And only more things to be discovered that are going to make us more efficient and faster and better. And you need things like a space program to spur further creative endeavors and creativity.
So we often hear in France, maybe it's wrong, I don't know, that's to win an election in the US, it's about money and to have a lobby behind you. But as I understand, you are against all the lobbies.
Yes.
And you have almost no money. I don't know. So how you will win?
Well, we're definitely against the lobbies, but we do have, I just ran the numbers. We have 1,200 individual people that have donated
to your campaign.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. 1,200 people individually have, uniquely. Yeah. Some of them have given again and again, but uniquely, that's how many people have so far. On top of that, we have raised, over $125,000 so far, from when we announced the second campaign to today. We have the support, and none of that is corporate lobbyist money. And the reason is because people are inspired by big ideas. Yeah. And we carry with us something that other candidates fail to do, which is that we believe in the original American conspiracy to create a society free of oligarchy. And one that says everybody is truly created in the image of God, and everybody has an inalienable right to the pursuit of happiness. Yeah. And to develop themselves and to love themselves and to, give them the conditions at which they can be have a roof over their head, 3 meals a day, but more importantly, to develop themselves and their minds to the highest potential possible so that they can then contribute to the society. Those ideas do inspire people. They're tired of hearing the same old, I'll make things cheaper for you. I'll make your rent cheaper.
We will solve all the problem in the hospital, in everything.
Yeah, see, other candidates want your vote. Yeah. I want people to think.
Yeah, that's totally different.
That is a much more noble, much better use of everybody's time to teach people to think than just getting somebody elected who's not going to do anything for them, who's just going to sit in the seat, get a paycheck, and not do anything for them. No, I'm different in the sense that I demand from my constituents for them to enforce their responsibility bestowed upon them as being American citizens. And that is what will give us the power to get elected.
That's great. So you are not ask people to vote, but to think, which is very, very different and strong statement. Just maybe a last word, because we share the common history. As you know, le Marquis de Lafayette participation in the American War. We know that he was fighting as a young soldier. He was 18, 19 years old at the time, who joined the George Washington Army and became Major General in the American independence fight against the British Empire at the time.
That's right.
So he was called the hero of the two worlds, the name that he was very famous in the US. So France have participated to the American Revolution during the time we were still a monarchy. So now you are coming, we are here, France and the US, working still together as you are doing there. We are doing it with Solidarité Progrès, because we have failed state, we can say it. We have a world financial system which is collapsing. We have a danger of World War III. We have the world which is collapsing. And now we can see that France the US today are still working together as in the time of the American Revolution. So maybe you can say a word about the link between France and the US during the Revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so in the Bronx, actually, we have Gouverneur Morris, and Gouverneur Morris was a diplomat to France. He was the French ambassador from 1792 to 1794.
Yeah.
Just before they started, people's heads here. But there was a big fight going on because, we understood that the French helped us quite a lot during the American Revolution. And Marquis de Lafayette would come back to the United States to help get John Quincy Adams elected. And, then we had people like James Fenimore Cooper and Samuel Morse and Edgar Poe go to France in the 1820s and 1830s, which if you view the American Revolution not as just one event, but as a process, then it is still the American Revolution, because they came from the United States to France to get the best ideas, and bring it back to the United States, but also vice versa, to take the best of what was going on in the U.S. and to France. But it's interesting because in the 1790s, when the Reign of Terror was happening and the French Revolution was happening, there was a problem. Gouverneur Morris had a fight with Thomas Jefferson about what are we going to do with France. Yeah. And Thomas Jefferson said, just give them the Constitution. give France the U.S. Constitution and it'll
be okay.
Everything will be okay. And Gouverneur Morris said, well, there's a problem here because only like 5% of the people are literate. Yeah. And he said the Constitution demands that the citizenry be an active participant in its republic. Otherwise, it can't work. Yeah. Which should be a lesson for people today, by the way, that your government, the U.S. Republic, cannot function with an uneducated population, which is why we have the problems we have today. But Gouverneur Morris said, no, we have to figure something else out, for France. And Thomas Jefferson said, I don't like your answer. I'm going to make you forget. No one will remember you. Yeah. So it was a conspiracy between him and Madison to make sure that, Gouverneur Morris don't get remembered. But I remember him. Yeah. But, despite this, Gouverneur Morris was here and Franklin was too. But
Benjamin Franklin.
Gouverneur Morris was helping some of the more intellectual people of France escape to make sure that they don't die, And I know he tried to get Marie Antoinette and Louis out, but it failed at the very last minute, But what we see with France and the United States is despite the struggle and despite the initial failure of the French Revolution, we see two countries that have been united together in a fight for, peace and a fight for real development and a struggle for freedom. A real fight for freedom. I was actually inspired by the Statue of Liberty, which, in New York, it's like, oh, Statue of Liberty. I didn't know there was one here.
Yeah, and there is a small one on the Seine.
Yeah, and that they face each other. Yeah. That is inspiring to me, And so as much as the world is inspired by the United States is inspired by the world. Yeah. And that's the sort of sense I got, between, being here and understanding a little bit more about the tying of history between these two countries. It's that it's a shared mission. Yeah. And even though we are in two different places, it's the same mission. Yeah. So, and it goes back to the founding of the United States. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, José. So we will go on the fight. You are leaving tomorrow back to the US to go on your campaign. In Solidarité Progrès here in France, we will go on the fight here also in France. I am running also for the National Assembly.
Oh, okay. We have you have my endorsement. You have my endorsement. I endorse this gentleman.
And I endorse this guy.
All right, good. There we go. Great.
All right. Thank you, José. And maybe I will come to the US soon and we'll come back soon in France when you will be elected congressman.
And then I'll invite you and you can... That's right. Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Petit aparté pour faire appel à vous, peuple de France, peuple souverain. Nous faisons appel à votre soutien quand vous connaissez certainement l'adage « le mensonge prend l'ascenseur quand la vérité prend l'escalier ». Vous savez également que la bêtise est désormais un outil, une arme de l'oligarchie contre notre population. Et la belle France n'est pas celle de la mesquinerie, du chamaillage, du chipotage, mais celle de la pensée, celle de l'action et celle d'un effort commun. Donc nous faisons appel à vos adhésions, à vos dons et à ce que vous nous contactiez pour agir. Et n'oubliez pas que, contrairement à ce que l'on rétorque souvent, que c'est le combat de David contre Goliath, n'oubliez pas que c'est David qui a gagné.